Welcome. I'm Bernice Ross, the CEO and President of BrokerageUpandRealEstateCoach.com.
My name is Greg McDaniel, the co-host and co-founder of the wildly successful and incredibly popular podcast, Real Estate Uncensored. But today, Bernice and I come together and we are Real Estate Coach Uncensored.
So Greg, we have a wonderful show for our viewers today. It's called Hot Strategies, Cool Apps, and Sage Advice from Connect Now. A couple of days ago, Greg and I attended Connect Now. Inman News has been putting these conferences on now once a month virtually, and they're always packed with innovative marketing strategies, tactics for winning at listing appointments. And this particular session had several apps that you're sure to love. So we wanted to share those with you today. I mean, there's just some huge takeaways, and these are going to really help your business right now in today's environment. So I want to start with something that really surprised me, Greg. And I don't know if you were surprised by this, but Brad Inman said from the stage, he says, I saw some study somewhere that says more people search for Zillow than real estate. And he says, I don't know, maybe it was put up by Zillow. Well, I went looking for it. There's a Google extension called Keywords Everywhere that tells you how many monthly searches there are in Google for various search terms. It's how they evaluate the cost of their advertising. So here are the numbers for the last month. Real estate had 450,000 searches. Realtor had almost 4.1 million. But get this, Zillow had 16.6 million searches. Is that not mind-boggling? I mean, there are only about between 10 and 11 million sites every year. So all kinds of people are going to Zillow for all kinds of reasons. But here's the takeaway. A couple of the different people that spoke at Connect Now said that they had been getting really great results by using by using Zillow reviews. And what one of them had done in her pre-list package, the lead had come off of Zillow. What she did on the pre-list package is that she put those Zillow reviews right on top. And when she got to that listing appointment, her pre-list package was open to the Zillow reviews. Great takeaway.
Great takeaway. Absolutely fantastic. And, that's just what we've talked about a lot. You're leveraging your past successes. So you don't have to go into listing appointments or other meetings blind or not prepared. It's the angel effect. If someone says something nice about you that you don't have to say it about yourself, it's going to be more impactful than you tooting your own horn. So that's a phenomenal idea. And there's a couple other good ones in this article, and I can't wait to get to them, but that's a heck of a takeaway.
Yeah, well, like I said, I have heard a lot of things I hadn't heard before. That's why I like going to the Connect events, because I always get great takeaways from my columns and for the people we work with. Now, the next one, there's a guy who spoke. His name is Dan Smith, and his video or his session was just, it was just like so fast. He had 15 minutes and he covered so much stuff, and he's super high energy. But he was talking about what it takes to, strengthen your positive mindset. And given today's environment, staying positive right now with all the things going on, it's a challenge. We've got COVID, we got the election coming up. There are a lot of things happening. But what he said was this, he came up with this idea called the mindset gym. He says your mind is the biggest muscle in your body. It's like you've got to exercise your mindset muscle. So here's your mindset exercise routine. So here's what he suggests. Okay, number one, create a victory log where you record your big and small wins for the day. And you write these down just before you go to bed, because what that does, how your mind can get off on the negative things when you're going to sleep? Well, when you write down your all the wins that you had during the day, and you kind of, as you go through the day, you think about, okay, I've got to put that in my victory log. And then what it does is you have those positive things going through your brain before you go to sleep. It lets you sleep better. Here's another step on how to use the victory log. Whenever you start to have a negative thought, immediately shift gears, do a reframe, and think, okay, what's one win I've had today? And that changes you from the negative to the positive. Now, he says when you wake up in the morning, you want to spend 5 minutes writing down the most important things you need to accomplish today. So, Greg, what was on your list of what you needed to accomplish today, your 3 or 4 most important things?
My list today was actually pretty simple. My number one thing, I've got to get back to a listing presentation with some numbers this afternoon, record my podcast, Real Estate Uncensored, do our live show, and then record with you. And then I had another podcast about ADHD. So, those are all kind of my big I have to do's. And so, yeah, I was definitely thinking about it all morning long when I was getting ready and the whole thing.
So that's this thing. But when you spend 5 minutes writing them down, then you can check them off as you accomplish them. And that says, this is what I've accomplished today. Now, the next step, Dan Smith he really likes affirmations. And if you belong to, if you're able to access the Connect Now sessions, then I would urge you to take a look at this one because it is fascinating. He sets his affirmations to music and he says, spend about 60 to 90 seconds. And his affirmations are unlike anything I've ever heard before. And I don't know if he was, he didn't have it was tied to some rapper and he was it was just, crazy high energy, but that gets him going. But the thing that it does when you set your affirmations to music, if you have music that you step your fingers to, that trains both of your cerebral hemispheres to be in sync, that's the precursor to having peak performance. So, when you feel, if you feel like you got up on the wrong side of the bed and those kinds of things, that's because your brain's out of sync. Because when you're kind of humming, everything's great, your brain waves are in sync with each other. So that's the takeaway. And at lunchtime, he suggests you watch a 5-minute inspirational or motivational video on YouTube. And he just said, search, motivational or inspirational videos on YouTube. There are thousands of them. At 2 p.m., he says, read 1 or 2 positive quotations. And then if you're in your car, listen to inspirational or motivational podcasts whenever you're driving. And if you start feeling down, open your victory log to review your wins. So there's how you get to your positive mindset.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I take pride and I get a lot of joy and satisfaction to listen to people like Eric Thomas, Tony Robbins, E.T., the hip hop preacher, Eric Thomas. I've listened to him for years and I would listen to him in the mornings and I would just get because he's very high energy, right? He's out of Chicago. I had the honor of meeting him and just the energy that man puts off is insane. Like you just talk to him like, damn, like I'm inspired. I'm going to go do something right now. And I listened to him because he would always say, Les Brown is another great one. It says, if you get knocked down, make sure you land on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. And that's Les Brown.
I love that. You can look up, you can get up.
You can look up, you can get up. It's just some good stuff you take with you. And then when you're having a down day, you just kind of those play back in your mind consistently. You inspire yourself. And like Dan said, if you got to take 5 minutes, go take 5 minutes. Go walk around the block, put something on your phone, put the headphones in, walk around, get some fresh air, clear your mind, get inspired, come back to work, review your victory log, charge hard. It's that simple. It's easy. I love this stuff.
Well, here's our first marketing tip. Don't tell them, show them. Joe Rand advises, don't tell them you're the neighborhood expert, show them. Greg, what are you doing to show people that you're the neighborhood expert other than, saying that you are?
It's very simple, Bernice, and I'm glad you asked. What I'm doing is I'm going out and I'm interviewing local restaurants, local businesses, and I'm really kind of having conversations with them, building that rapport. Then I take those, and when I sit down with my listing presentation, I say, you know what? Here's the link to my YouTube channel. If you want to learn a little bit about me and who I am and my team, you'll also see some interviews for some local businesses and local restaurants in there. And hint, they usually have coupons, so use them. And people love that because, why do we all like news anchors or movie actors or actresses? Well, because they're on camera. Once you're on camera, you establish some semblance of authority. And you know what? As long as you bring good, valuable, helpful, intelligent information, people are going to gravitate towards you on this because you're on camera. It's super simple.
Well, it's not only that, though. Also, you're using a give to get marketing approach, which is so powerful. It's like, you're giving them something that benefits them. These people have, they have really good food and they've got coupons, hint, hint, save money. So these are all, hey, for those of us who like bargains.
Who doesn't like a bargain? I mean, my goodness.
Hey, if they don't, I don't know what's wrong with you.
And that's actually one of the precursors for the videos, guys. When you go in and because you're going to be highlighting these local businesses, make sure that they give something to your audience and use a code. I typically use my last name. So it's like McDaniel 2020 or just Greg McDaniel or Greg, just so that's trackable. It's easy. And also it gives you an opportunity to tell the people I've been able to negotiate personally with the home at this business owner or restaurant owner or whatever. Just use my name, Greg McDaniel, and you're going to get a buy one, get one free pizza or whatever the coupon's going to be. It's very simple.
Yeah, and that's a great takeaway. Now, I love this next suggestion. It's called the Magic Buyer Letter, and this is from Jeff Loeb. And here's what he suggested you say. So here's your script. The property at 123 Main Street just sold, but we have, and these are the magic words, we have dozens of buyers from realtors and Zillow who have not yet purchased. So those are the magic words. There's still a bunch of buyers out there. Then you want to ask a closing question. Would you be interested in having your home shown to any of these buyers? Notice I didn't ask for the listing.
You didn't. And what I really like about this script that Jeff did, and Jeff is just an absolute master at this stuff, is he didn't say that he had dozens of buyers. He said he has dozens of buyers from other realtors and Zillow. So he's not making a claim that he can't back up. He's literally stating a fact. And so that if they say, well, you have buyers. No. I have buyers on Zillow and from other realtors. So would you like them to be, have them see this home? That's a genius slight little verbiage switch, which makes you completely ethical and moral, and you give them hope and you show that you have a value add. That's great.
Well, the other thing too, if it's one of your own listings, you are going to have your own buyers, plus, buyers from other realtors. So that's another kind of lead.
Mm-hmm.
Now I love this next one. This is another suggestion that Jeff had. He says, and he came up with two headlines that I really liked. What his strategy is here is that you want to explain why certain properties sell so quickly. So here are the two headlines. Why these properties sold in less than 7 days. And then the second one is 3 reasons these properties sold over asking price. Now, those are things that sellers want to know about because they want to know what they need to do that they can sell quickly. You want to get your property sold for the highest possible price in the shortest amount of time. Well, Jeff hit on both of those with these two headlines. So, Greg, what would you say, an example of property that sold in the last 7 days, why did it sell so quickly?
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you know why the good homes sell fast? Because they're the good homes. So
that was a little circular reason. I'm not quite buying that.
No, so that's something to break the ice. My father and I have been doing that for a long period of time because people are going to come up with all kinds of crazy ideas in their head of why it sold. We just tell them good homes sell because they're good homes. And that we jump into that stuff and we'll break it down. It was probably price. It was probably staged. It was clean. It was kept up. It was, tidy. It wasn't a lot of muss and fuss. It was easy access. It was fairly marketed and priced for the comps in the neighborhoods. It is a whole laundry list of things, but a lot of people just think that their house is the prettiest house on the block when it might be, right? But you're just explaining, okay, these are the actual factual reasons why properties like this sell so quickly. So what's the fastest way we can get your home in this kind of condition, in this shape, and take advantage of this market?
Or else it's the price. So, it's either price or condition. You want the higher price and you've got to have the condition.
Mm-hmm.
So, great takeaway there. I love both of these. And one of the things I thought was really powerful, say somebody responds to this and I have a Zoom meeting with them, I click the record, I record it, and then I can use this with future buyers over the, for, maybe for a long time, because the things that sell houses don't really change for the most part.
No, they do not.
So let's shift gears again. Now we're going to talk about listing appointment advice. And, one of the things everybody wants to know, how can I convert my listing appointments into signed listings? Well, here are some tried and true strategies. Now, I love this idea from Elmer Morales. It's called bring an offer to your listing appointment. He calls this his flip your own house program. Well, what he does is he goes to Open Door, and you can, if you go to opendoor.com, you can type in the address and you can get an offer right there on the spot. And so he is walking in with an offer on the property. So this does a couple of things, Greg. First of all, it circumvents the iBuyer conversation because you've already got one iBuyer bid and you can certainly get more. But then you have a chance to show them how much more they can net by listing with you and then taking advantage of your marketing programs. Now, have you ever done anything like this? I know you work with Open Door. Have you brought an Open Door offer to any of your clients?
No, I haven't. And I didn't even think about doing something like that, but just purely the power play that is, because your competition isn't even thinking like this. You show up just dressed, to match your clients with good market information, and you're knowledgeable about what's active, pending, sold those past, 30, 60, 90 days. And then you say, Bernice, and I'm really happy that, before I was even to get here, I was able to get an offer on your home. Now, well, let's take a look at it together and give me your thoughts. And then you show them the offer. They're like, "Ew, it's so low." You're like, "Ugh, I thought you were going to say that. Let me show how my team and I can get, the highest price for you." But you've already brought the value. You've already brought, done something that no one else has done, which is giving them a listing. Now, are they going to take it? Who knows? But you've done more than your competition. And it's out of the box. They are definitely going to tell their friends about this. Like I had this guy, Greg McDaniel, over from ABC Real Estate, and he brought me an offer when he sat down with me. What? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that gets talked about. And I think that's a huge takeaway right there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the things we know, top producers know the inventory like the back of their hand. So you need to know how many properties were listed in the last 90 days, and then how many have gone under contract. And let me give you an example. So if there were 100 properties listed in the last 90 days and 56 of them sold, that means that 44% of them did not sell. So the probability of selling your house in the next 90 days is 56%, and the probability of not selling is 44%. You have to be priced in that top 56% to sell in the next 90 days. And if you want to sell in the next month, you may need to be in the top 17 or 20% to sell in the next month. Greg, here's our next one. Always ask these 3 questions on every listing appointment. Yep. So you want to focus what matters most to the sellers. So what are the questions that they ought to be asking, Greg?
Bernice, these are questions that when I ask these at different listing appointments, what you're doing is you're understanding the why of the sellers. Why are they selling? And you're getting to understand the real, like what their thoughts are about the property. So here are the 3 questions, and they're very simple. Make sure you guys write these down or just go ahead and copy them out of the article, but they are fantastic. So question number 1, what is the greatest concern about selling your home? Then, shh, don't say anything. Let them talk. The good Lord, the big man upstairs, gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Exercise them in that order. Second question you're going to ask is this. What are the top 5 things you have loved most about living in this home? And let them tell you, is it the backyard that walked it downtown? Little Johnny came home from the hospital and he's now 18 and off to college, whatever it's going to be, right? So asking that question, and then again, quiet. Then your third and final question is, what are the top 5 things you will miss? And let them explain it to them, because who knows why they're selling? Are they selling because they have financial hardship? Are they selling because it's too big? Are they selling because it got too small? But what are the 5 things you're going to miss about this property? Again, take copious notes, be actively engaged, but use your ears, not your mouth, and get them to talk. Bernice, that's why I love these so much, because you open up Pandora's box and you let people just run. You understand their mindset. You'll probably get into much deeper conversation than you could ever possibly thought that you could, because you're tapping into the emotion of why they're doing this. Let's lift up the hood, look at the engine, figure out the problem and what's going on in their brain, and then find the easiest solution. So I love those.
Great. Well, let's go on to number 4, virtual home tours. I have a couple quotes for you here. First of all, Ryan Schneider is the CEO of Olive Realogy, and then Josh Team is the president of Keller Williams. Both of them explain how today's consumers are searching on virtual home tours, and specifically, this is what Team had to say. Data and Keller Williams now has a partnership with Google, and I believe you said, Greg, that they've also got a partnership with Facebook too?
Yeah, that's what I heard from Keller Williams. Their exclusive partnerships with Facebook and Google, which is really pretty interesting.
So they're getting some really interesting data people on the outside of KW don't have. So what they did say publicly at their event, they said data from Google showed there are 15 million consumer leads out there looking for virtual or 3-dimensional tours. And there has been a 400% increase in the number of searches around 3D and virtual tours. So these include key search terms such as virtual home tours, virtual open house, and 3D tours. So bottom line is here, you need to have a discussion with every one of your sellers about doing, virtual open houses, using 3D, the 3D like Matterport house tours that they do. In fact, Greg, what are you doing? You've been pretty aggressive about using video and using it virtually to market your properties.
Yeah, so we do. I'm very heavy on Facebook Lives. We'll do a tour. I have a microphone and the camera and the whole thing. I walk through and do an interview about the property. What we also do is I do extensive Instagram and Facebook stories based upon that video. So I'm hitting 3 different opportunities. I take the video then and I repurpose that video. I'll download it and upload it, and then I'll take it and I'll upload it to IGTV. So now I have an IGTV, I have a Facebook Live, Instagram stories, Facebook stories, and then you can reconstitute a lot of that data. I have a good friend, Gene Volpe, and he can, with his team, go and slice and dice all this content in the back. And then they push it out to other social media areas as well, which is very, very helpful to slice and dice that content up. Matterport a couple of months ago announced, if you guys are probably aware of, that they are now allowing, you can shoot Matterports on your cell phone. You can download the app. It's very affordable. You can do the first one, I believe, for free. So you don't need a big clunky camera anymore. Just go in with your camera and shoot these properties, guys. Trust me, I've done this and I've shown it to people. Their heads explode and their jaws drop. They're like, what? Because during COVID, and everything else, people don't want you in the house. Great. Give me an hour. Let me shoot all this stuff. I'll be out of your hair, and then we'll move forward with the sale. People lose their marbles. It is, and again, if you're someone who isn't really techie, right, as a home seller, and then Bernice Ross comes in with all of her bells and whistles, and she says, oh yeah, by the way, I've done this, that, and another thing, and here's what we're going to put the videos, and by the way, I'm going to shoot this 3D thing. Here's what Matterport is. This is an example, and people are going to have to walk into your house. They can see it before they come in, and only the confirmed buyers that are qualified will be stepping foot into your home. Is that okay with you?
And they're going, yes. Where do I sign up?
Yeah, I took a $1.8 million listing from doing that, and she's like, yeah, sounds good. I'm like, okay.
Well, the thing I love about this, when Matterport first came out, that was one of my top choices when you want to stand off from the competition. Even if the buyers weren't looking at it that much at that point in time, it is a huge listing conversion tool. So just doing that. But in today's environment due to COVID, that tool is golden, and you don't have to do Matterport per se. You can just do the walkthroughs with your camera. But, I would personally, if it's over $250,000, $300,000, I'm doing Matterport, it's just something to do because it's going to get me the listing. I'll cover my cost. Now, I want to talk about one other strategy, and this comes from Kendall Bonner, and she recommends doing what she calls tender touch videos. And these are really highly personalized videos, Greg, that work like a handwritten note. So something that you would say in a handwritten note, instead you're going to do it as a video. So Greg's saying, I just set a listing appointment with you, and I get back to my office or my home office, and I shoot this video. I say, assuming I got the listing, or if I didn't, I would say, thank you for discussing the opportunity to market your home. But what she does says, Greg, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to meet me, and I'm looking forward to marketing your home and getting you the highest price possible. So, thank you for the opportunity to represent you. She just does a quick thank you, but people can see you, they can see your body language, they can hear your inflection, and they can hear the gratitude in your voice. And then another time that she does these, it's just, say the buyers have done their physical inspection, and I shoot you a video instead of saying an email. Hey, Greg, the buyers just finished your inspection a little bit ago. The inspection report will be here within, the inspector said it'll be here in 2 days. Just wanted to give you a heads up. Have a great weekend, or whatever, it's just like, again, it's just making that connection. Greg, well, the next one is punchlistusa.com. Again, that's punchlistusa.com. Greg, you're interested in this one. Tell us about it.
Yeah, this is a fascinating new app. Like I have always said, I want you guys to go back and do your own due diligence and research on all the apps that we're going to be telling you, figure out if it's going to be right for you. But what I liked about this so much is that when you first sit down in the listing presentation, you can break out the punchlistusa.com, kind of what they're going to do and how it's going to work. You're going to show the sellers, okay, guys, this is what's going to happen when the buyer comes in and does the physical inspections. Generally they're going to go get bids to get things fixed. Once we get that report, we can run it through punchlistusa.com, and it's going to give us estimated costs on repairs for these different items. So if we get Joe the plumber and Bob the electrician who come out there and do insanely high, bid price because they're trying to make a couple extra dollars, right? Because they got an Amex bill they got to pay. Well, you can say, no, Bob, this is another estimate. So this is probably more of the cost we're going to be looking at. So if you meet it or beat it, great, let's do business. But otherwise, I appreciate your time. It keeps everything organized too. It's very clear, very transparent. I personally, since I just learned about it, I've been really reading about it and kind of investigating it. I literally cannot wait to do this on my next deal. It's going to be so interesting to see how it's going to work in harmony with all the other technology stuff. And then you bring this in for clarity and sequential, deal structure. I see no problem with this whatsoever.
Well, I tell you what, I love this tool. And a lot of times it's not the inspector it's not the, the contractors that are the problem. It's the buyers or their agent who are trying to just get a little bit more, squeeze a little bit more out of the seller. So this is another way to have an additional tool in your pocket to counteract those folks. Okay, now the next one is Vixer. That's V as in Victor, IXER. You really kind of like this one. Now this is only available for iOS. So if you don't have an Apple device, it's not going to work. Although I would hope that they would get something for Windows and Google-based apps. But anyway, talk to us about Vixer, Greg.
From my experience thus far, I downloaded it. I'm just starting to play around with it. What I really like a lot is that especially on the iPhones and, like I said, Apple products, you can take those, live photos, right? So they move for a second and then they stop. Well, you can create this and you can put the live photos in a particular sequence and they will create a movie out of it. I cannot wait to play with it. I think it's something so easy because we live and die off of our phones, right? This thing is stuck with us. I mean, it's within 3 feet of us when we sleep 99% of the time. And so why not take all those photos and videos? So why don't you, with the permission of the seller, okay, always get the permission of the seller, take some photos of the interior of the home. One, so you can run the comps, right? And then two, when you leave, you can upload them into Vixer. And then you can send them a little video of their house. Now the house might be a complete pigsty at the moment, but it will just show the technological advantage that they have by working with you. And it's a nice little reminder how they need to clean the house. It's just a little.
This is how you don't have to say anything. The video says it all.
Says it all. It's like, oh my gosh, our house is a disaster. And you're like, you said it, not me. Okay, let's get to cleaning.
So to wrap up for today, your final takeaway.
Guys, go out there and take a look at a lot of this stuff. There's some really good information here. Bernice and I had an absolute blast going to the Connect now. Brilliant minds all around. Go get signed up for the next one, guys. There's some great content, but go take action on this stuff. You try one of these apps. Let us know. Put comments in the video below here, guys, in the comment section. We would love to see what you guys like the most. That way we can do more videos for you. Bernice, what are your takeaways?
Once, choose one of these and implement it in the next week. Again, baby steps.
Baby steps.
Thanks for being with us today. See you next time.
Bye, guys.